Hello friends, welcome back to A Dog's Life in Liechtenstein. Let's jump right in and see Arthur getting to meet Eva, his Jack Russell friend from the Netherlands. Eva's dads, our good friends Jorn and Clemens, have renovated a former railway workers' cottage into a cute little holiday retreat in France, and they invited us to join them there for a few days. The house is almost in the middle of nowhere, but that means all around it are beautiful walkways, canals and farmland. It's a dog walking paradise. You've already met Jorn and Clemens, Jack Russell, Eva. Now let's meet their second dog, Pleun. Pleun is a small Münsterlander, which is a hunting retriever breed, and she has the sweetest nature. The three dogs did so well together, although each had such a different walking style. Pleun always runs ahead and spends her time gazing up into trees and hedges looking for birds. Eva stays mostly at heel, happy to walk but expending only as much energy as absolutely necessary. Smart girl. Arthur is the energetic teenager running backwards and forwards between them, his attention jumping from one thing to the next. It's such a pleasure to be able to give your dog so much freedom to run and explore in such a safe environment. The only other signs of human life we saw on these walks were the very occasional boat passing down on the canal. It looks like an ideal way to travel through this area of France. Otherwise, we had the place completely to ourselves. Typical of a retrieving breed, Pleun loves water as much as Arthur does, but since Arthur was recovering from a recent cold, I kept him out of the water on this occasion, which didn't please him at all. At first, Eva kept Arthur at a bit of a distance, but after about the second day, she even allowed him to snuggle with her on her favorite spot on the couch. quickly settled into a relaxed routine. Every morning, Jorn and I would go out and buy fresh bread to enjoy with ham, eggs or jam and coffee, overlooked by a very appreciative audience. The evenings were spent enjoying Jorn's and Clement's wonderfully cozy cottage and quiet time by the fire, chatting or reading. The dogs would each choose a comfortable spot, sometimes together and sometimes apart. One afternoon, we visited a small town in the region. It's a typical old French town with its narrow streets to wander up and down. But one claim to fame is that it's the home of a champion chocolate maker, and Jorn stocked up on enough to accompany our after-dinner coffees and keep us all very satisfied for several evenings. Of course, we had to check out the town's main church just off the square. The church was nothing unusual, except for a rather dramatic moulded stucco full of fluffy clouds over one window, which seemed a rather strange place for it. We happily wandered the cobblestone streets, but the blue sky reminded us there were dogs to be walked. And on the way to the car, I got another reminder of who was waiting back at the house. That evening, our dessert was a feast of the cheeses and breads that we'd bought while we were in the town. Later, Eva was introduced to a Rainer-style snuggle before bed. She's definitely not complaining. On another day, Clemens and I left Jorn and Rainer sunning in the garden and took the dogs for a nice long walk. It was a beautiful day to be outside and walking in the countryside, and even Eva joined in more enthusiastically than usual. We first headed towards the canal so Pleun could get her daily dose of water. Eva was more interested in the treat she knew I was carrying. We then took a track that took us up and away from the river and canal and into farmland. Arthur was as happy as anything, checking out all the farm smells, Pleun, as usual, was always ahead looking for birds in the hedges on either side. And of course, Eva was bringing up the rear. After the rains we'd had, you can see gumboots were an asset. Hurry up, says Arthur. The top is in sight. And the track did indeed open up to lovely farmland. Arthur got to encounter a ploughed field for the first time and water-filled ditches that neither he nor Pleun realized were there. I was fascinated by the clarity of the light and the contrast between the sky and the land. It reminded me of an impressionist painting, Arthur and Sky. But he soon got tired of posing and took to running again. Eva was still happiest to just potter along, burning only as many calories and energy as absolutely necessary. As usual, the smartest one. Another way we filled our afternoons was to visit nearby Brocante, which are often a mix of antiques, second-hand goods and junk, so can be really fascinating. One was being held at the glass factory just outside the village we were staying near, so we couldn't miss a visit. It was a beautiful morning, crisp and a bit misty, making the factory look almost romantic. Attracted to old boxes and containers, but fortunately nothing here caught my attention. Are two of those wonderful kind of people that know quite a lot about antiques and bric-a-brac, but never mind if you ask them a slightly stupid question, and they're always happy to help and give an honest opinion. For instance, I was interested in a casserole dish, but Jorn immediately spotted the defect and that it was much too expensive. Arthur just found all the chit-chat about furniture and crockery boring. The goods were varied and spread over several old rooms, but in no particular order. our fill of old things, we then visited the factory shop. Everything it sells has been produced in the factory, much of it by hand. There was a lot to see, but it's also just a beautiful space to be in, with so much light streaming through the semi-glass roof. It's lovely how they've renovated and utilized their old building. Despite the many temptations, I only purchased a fleur-de-lis glass for our bathroom and a small dish for nuts. I like taking practical souvenirs home that bring back happy memories when I enjoy using them. Well, friends, it's time to wind our way back through the French countryside towards Liechtenstein and home. If you enjoyed our video, like, subscribe and share it. And please, leave a comment. We love to read them and it helps to encourage YouTube to think we're important. See you again soon.